describe your breeding cycle. When do the billy goats go in, and how many herds do you run? So kind of briefly explain how you rotate your billies through, how many pastures you have, and then how you keep from what we talked about last night, where
incest.
Incest, correct. How do you prevent that? Briefly.
We have 4 pastures, one of which is dedicated to the billies, and 3 are dedicated to breeding. Isolate the billies 9 months out of the year. They're by themselves in the billy pasture, and they have their own barn, a little 3-sided barn to get them out of the elements when necessary. We have the same thing for the breeding pastures. 3 breeding pastures dedicated to strictly nannys and dolings, and until weaned, the billies and dolings are together, little billies and dolings, until weaned, and then we separate them.
Take the bellies off, yeah.
After 3 months of age, put the billies on in January, in October, and take them off in January.
Okay.
That's their breeding cycle.
You start breeding at 18 months of age, correct? And then each billy gets 1 chance at each pasture.
Yes.
And that prevents the incest. That's how
it is. The same billy can go back in his first pasture 3 years later.
And that's how you keep from breeding too closely or the incest.
Then they're gone at the end of 5 years.
Yes. They usually come here.
Both.
At 5 years.
If you want them.
Yeah.
Well, your billies over 80-90% of the nannies that we have. So
That's amazing that it's taken
We're
that many. You've got that many out of those billies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See.
Those are happy boys.
Let's talk about your selection. What do you look for in your females or your nannies? And then we'll move on to the billies. So talk about the females or the nannies first.
Okay, with the female, the udder is a standout thing to consider. 3 teats is not acceptable. And I like the uniformity of the udder, equally spaced if possible. The triplet bursts are quite a rarity. So a consideration for more is not necessary. They're gone.
Yeah.
Whether it be the sale barn or private treaty, if the guy accepts it. Regarding the culling, I don't like to see a lot of bone in the rear hips. I don't like to see an overbite, exaggerated, and that can work either way. Low out or upper out isn't good. They must be able to strip bark off of trees. That takes care of the female. And then with the male, the teat uniformity, the neck thickness, good strong legs. When it comes to culling, if a goat has more than 50% white in color, I have a tendency to get rid of that goat. I think it's a weak gene.
There you go.
And that was a Kinsing thing too.
On that real quick on the color. The color that you prefer is the red.
I did like the
buckskin.
dark red. Kinsing liked the gray to tan.
Yeah, kind of a, yeah.
Like a blonde kind of.
Yeah, more blondish, yeah.
With black
Down the back.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this is a good point on Kinsing. Built our home in 05. In 06,
And he came.
we had an open house at the ranch. We were proud of our dream home.
Well, and we have had so many people help us and guide us and give us good information and where to go and what to do. And we had a builder that was beyond amazing. So we decided that we would have a party and thank all these people that had helped us set up out there. And we had it catered and we had it outside, and it rained. Never rains in West Texas. It rained, and so we had a little mud, but it stopped raining. We were able to set up outside, and we had a big tent, and we had it catered.
Big tent.
Yeah, but anyway.
Cost $120.
Well, that's all right. Anyway.
Hey, and they delivered it and set it up for us. A big tent.
Yeah,
there were 40 adults.
Anyway,
with tables and everything.
And Kensing's, we invited the Kensing's and they came.
And I honored Robert.
Oh yeah.
By standing up and almost presenting a trophy to him, for Christ's sake, because he was responsible for so much of this. I loaded a wagon, a flatbed, and put it behind the tractor, and away we went down. And I don't believe there was a lady on board.
No, it was mostly guys that was down.
It was just the guys. I said, these are our goats in this pasture and so forth. And Robert said, there's some of mine.
Yeah.
He says, David and I argue a bit about the color. He prefers the red, and he's a redhead. Keep that in mind. And he says, I prefer the lighter color and have bred for that. But it was a joke between us, kind of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Color doesn't matter that much.
I like the black.
You do.
Oh, I
you
love
do
the black.
like the all black.
I'm a black. I like those black goats, especially to the kids. Kind of like you. You like them too, the little black guys.
I like the little ones, but when they get big, they're a little flightier.
Are they?
And so they make me angry.
Are there any characteristics that you've culled out of the herd? So I know.
I do a 5-year cull.
5-year cull.
Meaning that they're gone at the end of 5 years unless they meet certain
Specific
things that I want to give them an extra year for.
Mm-hmm.
If they've had multiple births is a good indication. And then if they're still strong, and I always do a tooth.
You've culled out the beard and the nannys.
Yes.
Correct? That's
yes.
one of the characteristics that you've...
And the wattles.
And the wattles. So it's okay. So wattles and...
Breed away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that a nanny has any business with a beard.
That's correct.
You know, she can shave.
I wouldn't want a hairy woman.
You want a bearded lady?
I guess I wouldn't either.
You've never seen a split in your billies cause any kind of breeding issues, correct?
No,
No.
I haven't.
It's all cosmetic. In the years that we've been coming to see you guys, I've never had a billy from you guys that has not bred. They're fertile. Never had a fertility problem. Basically.
I know.
Yes.
Well, there are some that are not able to. I know, but we've been very fortunate. I think all of ours have been fertile.
Yes.
It's something that always scares me.
Mm-hmm. Over 30 years of raising goats, if you had to put one thing that sticks out, what would that be?
Positive or negative thing?
We'll do one of each.
Memory.
Oh, a memory.
In the past 30
What
years.
have you enjoyed the most?
Thing
But what's the most enjoyable thing?
is ease of raising them.
Mm-hmm.
They raise themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you maintain what we have to because of our environment, a range environment, they will raise and take care of themselves.
As long as they have water.
Yeah, and we've been so very fortunate with predators.
Yes.
Yeah.
We attribute that to the hot wire and
Donkeys.
the donkeys.
So we'll roll into the next question on that. What type of fencing do you use to keep the goats in, and how do you keep them safe? So you touched on it. You do have a strand of hot wire, and then what kind of fencing do you have?
Oh, a top and bottom barb is important, I think. 48-inch standard net. We have 20% 4-inch square. I wish we had more, but it was very expensive.
Yes.
Versus the standard net of a 6-inch square.
A 4-inch square and then 6-inch square, as well as barb on top, barb on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then what about protection from predators?
Because the donkey grazes with the goats.
Yes, does not have to have special care.
A dog requires additional feed.
What is the most difficult thing about raising goats? That's the last question.
Cleaning the barn. I'm serious.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
And did I add about barns? That we
Yes.
have
A barn in each
a
pasture.
barn in each pasture. 30 by 60 is the
Three-sided.
big pasture, which is 82 acres. It has a 30 by 60. The others are all 20 by 40, except the Billy's, which is too small in height. It's the hardest barn to clean.
It is the smallest,
And
but
it's the
hard.
smallest. We clean barns twice a year. I try to do one in the winter and one in the summer. That's about all I can say to that.
Perfect.
Do you clean by hand or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's rakes. He-
Rakes
Yeah.
and a big corn scoop and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
The very last question is talk about a little bit about how y'all view us. We both view y'all as our mentors, and we like to think that we're carrying on what you guys are doing with the
And
goats.
you are. And can I start? Yeah, we not only are that, but very good friends. Your kids are very knowledgeable, and you are really taking this beyond. I mean, more than we ever dreamed we'd have
If
somebody.
anyone will,
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think David and Kensing had a thing, but you two have just really learned. You have learned, and you have really gotten into it so much. You're ahead of us, and that's a good thing because you're the next generation and carrying this on. Yeah. So we're so proud of both of you for doing what you're doing. And not only just our friendship, because we just enjoy each other. And there's 2 generations removed, but it's like you never. I mean, I just don't feel that way, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me how caring and how much you want to know and learn about raising these Spanish goats.
when we were in the tent the night of the open house,
Yeah.
and I had Robert and Doris stand up and be recognized as our mentors and very dear friends. And I said, he's responsible for me being successful if I am.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, that's how we feel about you guys because you've just taken this ball and rolled with it really good. Yeah. So, yeah. But we're sincere. We always refer. What do you do with your goats? I said we sell them at sale barns sometime, but we have the best to customers. And I said, and one couple in particular, because we're very good friends with them and they live close. Yes, I said, and we're very proud of that connection that we have. And how it was just luck that we
It
was just pure luck that we touched
Yes.
and got there. Yeah.
Because we started with 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then it turned into this.
Yeah, I know it. I know.
And
And
it
we
was
kept
just-
coming back.
It was just through one mutual person, and they're like, "Hey, we know of these goats. These
Goats,
goats,
yeah.
these really good ones." And we're like, "Well, we'll go check them out." And then next thing you know, we've been back ever since.
Ever since. Right. So that's that, you know, I didn't mean to interrupt on David, but I have a very strong feeling about this, about how close that we have and the connection that we have with this. And it's the goats that have brought us that way, but we've also become very good friends.
And we have
So-
a lot of things in common.
We do.
That covers all the
Okay.
questions. If you guys got anything you want to add at the end or anything like
No.
that,
No.
now's the time. But
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate
we're
you
very
guys.
pleased with your friendship and happy for you. And I know you're going to be a success.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what we tell everybody is our success is owed to you guys.
Well-
You guys have taught us so much about raising the goats and bringing your genetics here, and it's just
Well, you've learned a lot on your own too, things that we don't do because your environment's a little bit different, but you still, I mean, you're just so careful, and that's You're probably more careful than we are. I don't know. And it's interesting. It's very, very interesting to see how you all do it. And you're not that much different, but you do have some differences. So yeah, we love having you as friends, and we love coming to visit. And
Or menagerie.
and oh gosh, it's a zoo. Like I said, we need an elephant and a tiger.